This Sunday marks the one-year anniversary of the massive earthquake and tsunami that hit Japan.
Those surges hit harbors up and down the west coast. News 10's Whitney Clark is live in Crescent City with an update on how the harbor is rebuilding.
Crescent City has undergone quite a transformation in the last year. The tsunami really changing the lives of the people who live and work here. Some of the fishermen that I've spoken to say the last year has been frustrating, hectic, and surprising.
The tsunami has engulfed several cities.
A massive earthquake shaking Japan, a tsunami sweeping entire cities and the people who live here out to sea. Thousands of miles away, sirens warn of tsunami surges. Those surges destroying the Crescent City harbor, the docks snapping under the 8-foot waves. A year later, the harbor, a work in progress. The docks here, only temporary.
We don't have a lot of resources. We have a fairly small staff. Our annual budget is about $1.2 million. And this is a $58 million project.
Harbor Master Richard Young explains they're paying the bill for 2 tsunamis. The harbor also hit by a tsunami in 2006.
It damaged nearly all the docks in the harbor's boat basin.
Those docks were never replaced. Young says the rebuilding process has been smooth. However, the problem, federal and state funds won't cover all of the damage, which means the harbor has to come up with more than $4 million before it can rebuild.
We're looking for grant funding. We're also investigating the possibility of loans for the money. The problem is it's going to be very difficult for the harbor to debt service $4.5 million.
In Brookings, the last of the pilings are in. The docks here completely finished. The cost, nearly $6 million. Port manager Ted Fitzgerald says it's all because of the help from the community that depends on these boats.
There's not that many jobs around here, so we got to save the ones we have and make it possible for these guys to go out and catch fish and crab and stuff like that.
Those fishermen bringing in $11 million this crab season. In Crescent City, the season also better than normal.
We had a successful crab season. The harbor was ready for crab season, which was our goal because it's an important part of our local economy.
But life after the tsunami for this community hasn't been easy. Frustrating for those who call these boats their businesses.
It is what it is. I mean, everybody has pretty much a place to tie up, but there's a boat over here in the harbor where there's nowhere for him to tie up, so he actually has to take a skiff in and out to his boat. And I mean, that's frustrating, and it's hard to unload and load supplies, and definitely puts a degree of difficulty in things.
A year after this, there's only room for 100 boats in the harbor. It's usually home to more than double that. The fishermen here lucky, still able to make a living off the sea that sunk 13 boats.
The next step is the harbor will go out for a bid, which means there will be a bidding process to see who will be in charge of contracting and doing the rebuilding of the harbor. However, that rebuilding or any work in the water can't get started until this summer. Covering your news live in Crescent City, Whitney Clark, News 10.
We're taking an in-depth look at the tsunami and its impact here tomorrow night. Tune in for the News 10 special report, Tsunami, 1 year later, right after the 6 o'clock news.